Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Which one cryptocurrency will result in the creation of the most new millionaires? Because look, we already are aware of this. We're in crypto. We're not a bunch of idiot sticks, right? We understand that there's 12 years worth of data that shows people that invest in crypto and behave appropriately, which is to say, you don't act like your typical retail speculator acting like a lemming, FOMOing everything and panic selling. If you don't do that, the data shows that you accumulate life-changing wealth. That's just what the data shows. That's what happens here. And we've certainly seen that happen with XRP over the years. Not that I'm convinced that most people getting into crypto have this incredible experience, but it's up to you. There is such a thing as personal responsibility. That's for damn sure here. So there's an individual on Twitter who has a very popular YouTube channel who posed just that question. So I wanted to talk about it just a little bit here. Also have a few tweets from some of the most popular crypto chart analysts on the planet. And the expectations for where Bitcoin is going this market cycle just completely out of control. And I hope some of these people are right. I really do. They have huge followings for a reason. I don't know. And look, I've said this before too, and it's worth knowing. Like sometimes there is such a thing as like there's like being wisdom within a large group of people that thinks something is the case. That's certainly possible. And given the individuals that I follow for chart analysis, I do find that's generally the case. Now, if you're talking about wisdom in the group of retail speculators as a whole, no, almost 100% of the time, I want to vote against what that group's saying. So it depends on the group that you're talking about, to be completely honest with you here. But I'm going to share with you some stuff that just sounds completely ridiculously fantastical from some of these people, but while acknowledging that sometimes in crypto, completely fantastical, ridiculous sounding things actually do happen. But then I'm going to share with you this contrarian view from a very well-known analyst, and there's a piece on the Daily Hodl that I'm going to run through. It's on your screen right now, so we'll get to that too. But regardless, what crypto has done over the last several years that I've been involved, it's just been beyond what I would have actually hoped would happen, and we haven't even seen the blow-off top this market cycle. I'm thrilled. I am as excited as could be for what is yet ahead, and I hope you are too, because there's so much opportunity in life. Even if you're in a tough spot right now, you're in control. The opportunity does exist for you, for everybody. But again, there is such a thing as personal responsibility, and people do get wrecked in these markets, but I think most of the time when that happens, it's because of some behaviors that you can inform yourself of how bad these behaviors are. You can just kind of avoid them. And look, I don't have a financial background of any kind, so just understand I'm not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related stuff, but just as a hobby and just for fun. XRP not looking too bad right now. I mean, it looks like the market's been ranging a bit for a number of days, and you know what? That's okay. That's normal. It's not as exciting as when we see these huge bursts up, but the reality of the situation is that the exciting times are few and far between. Investing in crypto, what is it to invest in crypto? Well, it means mostly sideways trading and down trading. That's pretty, not up, not the exciting times, which is why people get shaken out so easily. As Warren Buffett stated about the stock market, and it's certainly true of crypto, the stock market is a mechanism for transferring wealth from the impatient to the patient, which is why I say this. I boldly state this. I will outpatient anyone. Absolutely. I refuse to sell. And I am so confident in that if I'm wrong about the crypto that I hold, I'll write all ambitions to zero. That is the truth of the matter. Bitcoin is at $61,872. Market cap for the asset class, $2.82 trillion, and Bitcoin dominance at 41.33%. And how are the typical retail speculators feeling? Yes, the lovable, cuddleable lemmings out there that follow one another off a cliff to their own demise when things get scare in the market. How are they feeling? Well, right now, they're feeling good, so I think they're safe. They're feeling greedy right now. This is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index at 73 out of 100. And I'm happy for that. I don't take any sort of pleasure out of their fear. I just know that they're very emotional creatures. And I'm going to just recognize that, know I can't change it, and I position myself accordingly. And I will behave in accordance with this understanding of how the typical retail speculator behaves. Take a look at this. So this is Lark Davis. This is the individual that I was talking about at the outset of the video. 638,000 followers. I don't remember how big his YouTube channel is at this point, but it's gigantic, probably bigger than that even, frankly. But he tweeted out the following. I just thought it was a fun topic of conversation, so I thought I'd touch on it here, but he wrote the following. And I'd love to hear your answers in the comment below, too. I think I have an idea. Which one crypto is going to be responsible for making the most millionaires next year? Shill below and tell us why. You know, here's the thing about crypto, though. Like when it comes to creating millionaires, you got to understand, like, so even the people that do really well, I'm not convinced necessarily that most of them actually become millionaires. And look, it has to do with risk tolerances and what you're willing to take on, this and that. There's such a thing as selling too soon, and there's such a thing as selling too late. I personally am scared of selling too late much more than selling too soon. Because look, if I sell too soon, and I look back in hindsight, I'm like, oh man, I sold here and it went another tenfold higher, whatever the crazy number might be. I can make peace with that because I know that if I sold it, that it means that it was a sufficiently enticing level for me, and I know I can't time the top, and I'm not going to beat myself up because that's stupid, STOOPID, stupid, so I'm just not going to do it. I'm much more afraid, to be honest with you, with maybe selling a bit late. And there are a couple ways that could happen if I actually do get too greedy, and I better not because I know better than that. But I also understand it's messy, and you know, I'm gonna maybe I sell on both sides of the like where the bubble fully inflates. That could happen. I won't be as harsh on myself about that. But if I don't start selling until the downside, I'm gonna be very disappointed in myself personally. I'm hoping that most of what I end up selling, XRP and every other crypto, more so sell on the way to the top, and then if some of it spills over on the other side of the hump, and you know the bubble's clearly popped, I'm like, okay, fine, it's out. And then I say, okay, fine, I can make peace with that too, I suppose. But I'm much more afraid of being late than early. That's just me personally here. But I know for a lot of people, it's just you're not taking. I know this is true. Too many people don't take profits. Like I remember, I'm not going to name the name, but there was one individual who publicly stated that his crypto portfolio at the peak of the last market cycle was. I don't remember the exact number, but it was over $600,000, and I think the number that he said that he sold, the dollar figure for all cryptos, was like maybe like 100. He got like a little over 100,000 out of it, and that's still like that's a chunk of change. Don't get me wrong, but again, this kind of illustrates the point. Like if you have life-changing money in front of you, and for a lot of you, I think you'd say, yeah, that's life-changing. Especially, you know, if you're talking that in conjunction with the rest of your net worth. I mean, that could be something here, and so. It is certainly possible to get greedy. I'm going to do my personal best to combat that. But you know, in terms of what's going to create the most millionaires, I think most people in all of these cryptos, they sell way before it gets to the point where one individual crypto makes them a millionaire. And I'm not even saying that's unreasonable. I'm not saying that's bad. What the expectation is, you don't sell a crypto until it makes you a millionaire, like the one crypto. No. So I'm not saying that's unreasonable. But I'm telling you, XRP made a lot of millionaires. So I don't pretend to know which individual cryptocurrency will make the most individual millionaires, but XRP has already done it multiple times, and I do firmly believe that it's going to happen again this market cycle, and it's going to be a blasty blast. And a lot of these people, too, were already millionaires when they made $1 million off of XRP. Like, not going to be surprising to hear that, is it? So I would love to hear your thoughts on that, but suffice to say, the best is yet ahead. Take a look at this tweet I shared. This is from, it's from Credible Crypto, but this tweet, the first tweet I'm sharing anyway, is from November 2nd, actually. And he wrote, he's talking about Bitcoin here, $63,000 to $64,000 tagged. Bitcoin now to see if we can break out to new all-time high or reject soon and continue to range. And so what have we seen to this point? Because again, it's been about 5 days. Range bound, mostly range bound, right? Okay, fine. But what's going on now? Well, Credible Crypto simply tweeted out the following. Now send her back to $65,000. Won't mind seeing that. It's just a matter of time. Like, and that's why when it comes to the timeline, I understand why your typical chart analyst isn't going to be very strict on their timeline. It's more about the chart formation tells me so and so, but as far as how long something is range bound, drags out a bit, less certain. It's just the structure is the structure. So it does seem to me, and I've noticed this from most of the analysts that I follow, they don't set strict, most of them don't set like strict timelines. They have general expectations for what's going to happen, whether it's, this quarter, first quarter next year, second quarter next year, whatever. But most of them, they don't have particularly precise expectations of where price is going. And I think that makes a ton of sense, to be honest with you here. So either way, whatever the time ends up being here, like, do we really think Bitcoin's not going to at least hit that? And what's going to happen? Because look, if it's just going to grind upward for a bit slowly after some range bound action, fine. It's still going to burst at some point. In fact, the degree to which that's true, just like, check this out. Here's a tweet from PlanB, and this might be the most popular analyst in crypto on the entire planet. Possibly true. 1.3 million followers on Twitter. And if you want to look at the GIF on your screen, feel free. It's, what is this, like a rocket or some sort of shuttle blasting off into space? I don't know what the hell it is, but it looks very dramatic. I like it. It's pleasing to the eyes. And he simply wrote, "Are you ready for $10,000 plus daily candles?" Hell yeah, I was ready for that. For damn sure, son. Exactly. But when it comes, though, you don't know exactly for sure. But it seems to me like an inevitability. And so, whereas it used to be completely absurd, the idea of Bitcoin volatility in a single day and over 1,000 and then 2,000 and 3,000 and stuff like that, we've seen all this before. But when you're talking about, if this individual is correct, like huge moves like that, these are not particularly common, let's say. Are you ready for 10,000 plus daily candles? And this individual thinks that we're going to be seeing tremendous moves to the upside, not the downside. And take a look at this. This is the guy that's most famous for having applied the stock to flow model to Bitcoin. Nobody had done it before him, or at least didn't gain notoriety for doing so. So presumably it really was him doing this first. But take a look at this tweet here from PlanB. He wrote, "Some people think." Oh, I should mention this too before reading this. He believes he's been so bold. He predicted this. I don't know when for the first time, but I've been covering it on this channel for months and months and months. So we're going to see if this guy is right or not in very short order. We're going to know inside of a few weeks. But he's predicting Bitcoin to close at least $98,000 this month, folks. It's already November 7th. So things happen quick in crypto. So that's not me saying it can't happen. I'm not making a prediction. I don't pretend to know. But we're going to see. And he has been shockingly accurate regarding his expectations over the years, which is why he has such a nice, freaking massive following, well-deserved, to his credit here. $98,000 this month. $135,000 Bitcoin by the end of December this year. So we're going to, that's bold, man. Like, you got to respect that. The cojones required to make a claim like that. When you've got that many followers and your reputation's at stake, I can respect that. Even if he's not right, you know what? He's been way more right than wrong, and I'll just be like, okay, it is what it is. But he could be right, so we're going to find out. So here's what he tweeted out, though. "Some people think November close of $98,000 is too big a jump. It is 60% plus from current level. Yes, that is a big jump. But Bitcoin did this many times before." And then he cited 7 instances of this, and I'll read them. May 2019, plus 62%. August 2017, plus 66%. May 2017, plus 66%. November 2013, plus 451%. October 2013, plus 61%. March 2013, plus 181%. And finally, February 2013, plus 63%. And so that's seven times that he cited here. And so it doesn't mean it can't happen again. Just understand this too, though. The percentage gains and the multiplier effect, the more money flows into Bitcoin, the harder it is to get those types of impressive asymmetrical gains that we've all become accustomed to. When there's more money in it, the volatility decreases, which means there's less monetary opportunity, which is why I've said for the longest damn time, and so many people are unaware of this, like they get all scared about the volatility. I'm like, no. Volatility is the freaking point of investing. Without investing, without volatility, it doesn't make sense to invest. And so, given that I am stubborn as a mule, I don't know why mules get such a bad rap, by the way, but presumably they really are stubborn. Like, if everybody like every trader out there was just another moon Lambo. Like there's just a sea of endless moon Lambos investing. There would be zero volatility because I don't play that damn game. I do not jump in. I you know, FOMO in. I don't panic sell. I just hold. And so in a world where it's just a bunch of me's, there's no volatility. That's not going to be good. We need these emotional speculators to make stuff move around. We do. We really do here. And so, but it's good. Without those humans behaving like that, there's not opportunity. And so people don't get this. The fact that crypto markets are the most volatile asset class, like this is the most volatile asset class on the planet by a wide margin. That's the reason there is so much opportunity. People get terrified from this, and I just sit here and look at them like, you guys are being ridiculous. If you just look at what's happened for the last 12 years, despite insane pullbacks of over 80%, for some cryptos over 90%, for some 98%, like we're still trending upwards dramatically for 12 freaking years. So even if this is the top of the bubble, like let's just pretend that it is right now and we're just not, we just don't know it. We're still going to keep trending up, like fast forward another 5 years, 10 years, even if you're so unlucky to buy the top of a bubble, what the hell does it matter in the end? You know? And so the volatility makes all of this possible. This is not a negative. Yeah, you don't like it when it goes down, but you know it makes sense. I'm not telling you to buy or sell or hold anything, but you know what I do? If the bubble's already, like, and I don't believe this for a second, but if the bubble's fully inflated right this very second and I'm just oblivious and unaware and we just all realize that in hindsight, I'm not going to sell. I'm not going to panic sell. I'm just going to wait for the damn thing to inflate and then buy a bunch more crypto and ride it up. That's it. We don't have to overcomplicate things. Like, data shows the people that have the least sophisticated approaches to investing make the most money. This is true in the stock market, and this is true in crypto. It's buy and hold. What a novel idea. I invented it myself. Take a look at this. This is a tweet from PlanB also. Do you think Bitcoin will reach $500,000, $288,000, $100,000, or will Bitcoin stay below $100,000 by Christmas of this year, 2021? Interesting poll. And right now there are 242,000 votes on this. I just thought I'd share it. We'll see who ends up being right. Only 5% think Bitcoin's going to reach $500,000. Okay, good, because that sounds a bit kooky to me. I try to not rule out anything in crypto, but damn, something like that does not seem particularly probable. So I'm glad most people agree with that. 31.4% think $288,000 is possible by Christmas of 2021. I'm going to take a hard pass on that one, and if I'm wrong, cool, because I'm not an analyst anyway, but I'm going to take a hard pass on that. That's not what I would anticipate here. 39.8% say $100,000 by Christmas 2021. Okay, starting to sound a bit more reasonable. I don't know if we're going to see that price at all this market cycle. That seems much more plausible, though, not completely outrageous. And then 23.8% think Bitcoin stays below $100,000 by Christmas of this year, December 25th. Huh. We'll see. I like these polls, though. It's kind of fun to like take the temperature of the room and see what people think on this stuff. I actually just put out a poll asking, it was a different topic, but do you think you have enough XRP, or do you wish you had bought more? I'll share that in a future video. I just put it out within the last, I don't know, probably hour or so. Anyway, and then let's just go ahead and jump into this now from the Daily Hodl. Crypto analyst Alex Kruger predicts Bitcoin price for end of 2021, says $1 million Bitcoin inevitable in the long run. And so I just wanted to highlight this because compared to a lot of the analysts out there, and I hope they're right, because the analysts that I follow anyway, like, they're way more right than they are wrong, and they're really aligning on this idea of Bitcoin blasting past $100,000 this market cycle. We'll see. This is a contrarian view. And so there's the blockchain backer who has the lowest expectation out of any analyst that I follow for Bitcoin, which is fine. That's not a critique. I don't pretend to know what's going to happen. But, you know, somewhere in the neighborhood of $75,000, $80,000, that would be the top. And tops are short-lived. Don't forget that either. And then there's this from Alex Kruger. So let's go through this real quick. Popular economist and cryptocurrency analyst Alex Kruger is providing an outlook for Bitcoin over the coming weeks and months. In a new interview with YouTuber and crypto strategist Scott Melker, Kruger predicts that Bitcoin will eventually hit the $1 million price tag. However, he says the time frame for the price target is up for grabs, and here's a quote. $1 million Bitcoin? I think it will happen, most definitely. I have no idea when. I think it's way out there. Pause. You know what? That's fair enough. I don't know either. By nature, I'm a bit more of a skeptic than a lot of people. But yeah, this is absolutely possible. And so, like, here's the thing. In a world where Bitcoin's heavily tested based on utility, which we haven't seen in the 12 years crypto has existed, I don't know how the market responds, which is why I have a little bit of skepticism. But if humans say, hey, and humans behave like this sometimes, if humans say, hey, this thing's the standard and standards matter, maybe it does stick around forever. But it's not because of its amazing technology. Technologically, it's the worst cryptocurrency on the planet, basically. I'm just being a realist. Like, I'm not a Bitcoin. I hold Bitcoin. I want it to do well. I'm just being a realist here. Like, so I don't know. But again, standards being what they are for people, maybe it is the case. It's got the brand cachet, all this and that. Maybe it does. And I wouldn't mind that one bit. I hope that is indeed the case. I'm just saying there's at least some chance for humans to behave differently than they are now as the market continues to mature. That's all I'm saying. I don't think that's a terribly ridiculous viewpoint. I don't think that's unreasonable. If anything, I think that a lot of Bitcoin maxis out there, they drank way too much of that Bitcoin maxi Kool-Aid, and I don't think it's going to work out for them too well. Not necessarily. Anyway, the crypto analyst is also unveiling his year-end price target for the largest crypto asset by market cap. And here's a quote. $100,000 by year-end is possible. I think it's very unlikely. Or let's put it this way. It's unlikely, not very unlikely. I thought it was delusional under normal circumstances, but these are not normal circumstances. We just had a slew of ETFs, which are exchange-traded funds, approved, and that could change, and that changed everything, is what he says. I think. So my base case scenario is more like $75,000 to $85,000. Can we hit $100,000 by year end? We definitely can. Now, mind you, he's not saying that's where it tops this market cycle. So he's still, don't be fooled, he's still not necessarily having as conservative an expectation as the blockchain backer, for example, here. But for this year, yeah, it's on the lower end from what I've seen from a bunch of different analysts here. Now, as far as the exchange traded funds, look, a couple things to say on this. As far as what's happened in the United States, that's not a Bitcoin ETF. It's a Bitcoin futures ETF, which is not the same thing. There is no physical Bitcoin held. Now, I did share. I think I shared it in a recent video. I believe I did. I think at least. Sometimes it's hard for me to. I read so many articles and I can't cover everything, and so sometimes I look back and I'm like, wait, did I cover that? Anyway, I think I covered this one, but if not, well, here you go. Australia actually did launch. Their first, or approved anyway, their first Bitcoin ETF. I don't think that it's launched yet. I think the news is just that it just got approved. Could be mistaken on that, so you can fact check me, that's fine. But either way, definitely approved. And my understanding is that that particular one will require the physical holding of Bitcoin, which affects supply and demand. So that's meaningful to me. Supply and demand dynamics are a real thing. That's what causes prices to do what they do in a general sense. Not exactly rocket science, but worth being aware of given what's happening here. Like, exchange-traded funds, is you continue to see them adopted the world over, especially when you're talking about, in the future in the United States, a Bitcoin ETF that is a real ETF and not just a Bitcoin futures ETF. Yeah, that's good. That's certainly going to be more impactful. Part of that would be based on psychology, but again, it actually impacts supply and demand, which to me is even more meaningful. Less Bitcoin for people to fight over on spot exchanges because it's somewhere else held. So it is what it is. I'll go ahead and wrap up here, though. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!